I made it too humid in here again. There's so much. Everything is wet. Oh, it's a good thing it's almost time to repaint. Cool. It's all very wet. Oh no, I turned it on. I can't turn it off. Can you turn off? Oh no, I made it brighter. Help. Well, I guess this is what we're doing. I'll talk about what I'm making in just a minute, but I just really horked the lights. I don't know how to turn it off. Before I send you to the intro, I have to do my thing, because it's my thing. Hello, I'm Mrs. Soap and Clay. Let's make stuff. How's it going, Sudsers? Welcome back to the channel. You are at Soap and Clay, where we make all the soapy things, and you are here for day 269 of 365 days of soap, and today we are making the Sandalwood Coffee swirly soap thing, and we're doing it in the mold swirl, and I love in the mold swirls. They are so much fun, and I don't get to do enough of them these days, right? Because we're always playing around with other designs, but in the mold swirls are really cool because it's different every single time you pour that bar. And so today, this batch is going to be wildly different than every other time I've ever poured it, but it's still gonna look the same. You get it. Let's go to the video. We can see what I worked with, as well as a cool sandalwood scent. Seriously, as well as a cool sandalwood scent that I recommend you pick up. So let's go there and we'll talk all about it. Hello, how's it going, Sudsers? I am here today for a Sandalwood coffee soap, and it's going to be the last coffee soap for a little bit, I promise. This particular one I named Half Calf because it's funny, but in actuality this is a like quadruple brew coffee, so super strong and almost a little bit thick when I incorporate it into we'll incorporate the lye solution into it. Very, very interesting pour. This was actually the first pour that I ever did for this particular coffee house, this wholesale account. And I went all out on it. And really I went all out on it because this was one of the few bars that we designed that had dark enough colors that allowed me to keep the batter kind of dark. And so I was like, well, I'm going to take advantage of that for sure and make it a super duper coffee bar. So that's what we're doing. And with this particular soap, this is a 3-color blend. So it's going to be like a beigey caramel color and a black and a burgundy. And the scent is a gorgeous sandalwood blend. And I'm not going to tell you what it is because it's something of my own concoction, and I spent years figuring this guy out, and even if I told you, you'd just be pissed off at me because it's like 5 different sandalwoods that go into it, and so it's really unnecessary. But it was during my mad scientist, I want to create scent blend, phase. And so I will stick with it forever because I put so much time into it. But if you're looking for a really good sandalwood fragrance oil, just off the bat, that smells absolutely extraordinary without having to mix it with anything else, I would try Sacred Sandalwood from Nature's Garden. That is one of the sexiest, not having to do anything else to it scents for sandalwood that I have smelled like ever. It's so good. So try that one for sure. Also, I would apologize for the sound of the alarm that seems to happen in every single video, but I'm not sorry for that because, I film my voiceovers at the exact same time every day. And that exact same time every day is called, 15 minutes before I have to go pick up the soap and clay kidlets. So that's my alarm that's going off every day saying, hey, just in case you don't know that it's time for you to go pick up your kidlets, it's time for you to go pick up your kidlets. So that's why the alarm goes off. These are things that I care about. Maybe you don't. And maybe I don't care about whether or not you do. Yeah. Anyway, this particular soap, I am reserving a portion, as I have done in a couple of these for this particular wholesale account, the videos that I've given you in the past week or so, for the top. Because the initial designs for this particular wholesale account was supposed to be coffee-esque in feel, but she didn't super dig the coffee bars that I already had in my line, right? She thought they were a little bit too basic with my espresso shot, which is just a solid brown bar with coffee beans in it, like coffee grounds in it, with a cute little copper, white, and, dark espresso colored, swirl top, just on the very top, skewered. And the other one that I had, it's just 2/3 dark espresso colored and white on the top, and the chocolate espresso. And she wanted more interest in her bars. And I'm like, that's great. Cool. So we started this with designing soaps that still, even if the colors were a little bit different inside, they still all had that same frothy top, like the foam, And so this was one of the first that we designed, but we actually did this based on the company's color scheme for the logo and, all the things. And so the sandalwood, was born. It doesn't smell like coffee. It doesn't necessarily look like coffee except for the foam on top, but it still fits her business and what she's going for because her logo colors and her branding is represented within the bars. So that's that. And, ever since then, she has gotten more and more sort of interested in the other types of designs that don't look like coffee anymore. But this was one of the first, and it always has to look like coffee because she's been selling it for years, and we can't change that now. And by looks like coffee, I mean it has the foamy top, because none of this actually resembles coffee at all, but it still makes her business make sense. We just talked about this, never mind. So within this particular design, it is an in the mold swirl, just alternating the three colors, doing basically just stripes down the middle of the mold over and over and over again until all of the soap batter is in, save for the about 12 ounces that I reserved for the top to create the foam top, the sculpted top. And just continuing that until all of the colors are in. And I don't skewer it. I don't take a hanger to it. I just let the very fluid soap batter, because I'm pouring this at a very light trace, do it for me. And so every single bar, while all of the colors are still represented, they're all a little bit different. And this is one of my most favorite types of pours to do in the mold swirls and in the pot swirls both. But in the mold swirls always yield for me the most fun for soap Rorschach, because in every soap, there's the potential to find a new pattern or see something different. And it's absolutely delightful. And every single time, no matter how many times you've poured that particular soap, you're still going to be surprised when you cut into it. You're still excited to cut into it and actually see all of the beautiful designs. And so that's cool because, as some of you may know and experience and can relate to, when you pour the exact same soap colors, soap blends, soap style, or whatever over and over again, at some point you're just bored with it. But within the Mold Swirls, you're never bored with it. There's always a beautiful new soap that you get to cut into, and you don't exactly know what you're going to see. And that's cool. Now, this particular bar will be C-popped and gelled, much like everything else that I do, because that's what I do. But also I want to make sure that that burgundy stays, because every once in a while, mixing the red clays and the stuff, it can get weird and you end up with a light pink. And I don't want a light pink. I want a burgundy, because this is the coffee company's, color, signature color. So it has to stay burgundy. So it's going to be C-popped and gelled. Okay, and on to the cut of this guy. And as you can see, nice and shiny. Definitely went through gel. Beautiful, beautiful. Everything looks very good. It's very smooth. And it's very fun. Now, your end pieces are always going to be a little bit, they're not going to be as cool as the rest of them, but still super cool. And all of these swirls are just fun. And as you get closer to the middle of the mold, they usually get even better. And I love that. These are they're just very unique bars of soap. There's just cool interest in all of the bars. Very exciting. Smells delightful. Again, I really do recommend doing the Sacred Sandalwood if you guys are looking for a really epic sandalwood, because that one's really, really good. For sure. Now, I got a bunch of questions yesterday, since we're still on the coffee thing, asking about why or if. So if I'm concerned that coffee doesn't survive saponification, can you then put coffee in melt and pour instead? And then also, whenever I do coffee soaps or whenever I talk about leave-on products versus rinse-off products, people are also always asking me, well, how about extracts in melt and pour? And so I'm thinking that I might want to play with, in the next few days or whatever, just doing some weird, oh, that's gorgeous. Just doing some weird testing with water and extracts in melt and pour, and what melt and pour will actually handle. Does that make sense? To give you guys a visual of what you can and cannot do with melt and pour, and realistically why you shouldn't put water in melt and pour. If that sounds like a fun video, let me know. But for now, that's day 269, the Sandalwood Coffee. And there it is, the Sandalwood Coffee soap for Tacoma Java. Again, their very first soap that we ever made for them. And we used their colors for their branding to actually make this bar. So this one doesn't exactly look like coffee, except for the top foamy part, but it still works within what they're doing for their business, because again, we're using their branding. We're just creating that continued recognition. As an aside, I don't think that we've actually done a good branding video ever, but that is one thing that if I haven't recommended it to you by now, I'm recommending it to you right now. Don't continue to change your colors for your business or your logo design or your name. You're never going to build that good brand recognition. Just stick with it and keep going with it. Even if you're bored, your customers find it very comforting to see that they've come to know and love. So that's it. I hope you guys like the soap. Again, for all of these soaps this week so far, you can't get them from me, even if soapandclay.com was back up, which it's not yet. But if you are in the area and you see a Tacoma Java, you can totally stop by and see all of her soaps there. She's got some great ones. Yes. For those of you interested in seeing, what else we do, we have a crazy project coming up that's going to take the next 3 or 4 weeks, a few days of the next 3 or 4 weeks. And it's a super wild one, so I'm very excited / nervous about that. So if you're interested in knowing what that is and being reminded about it, subscribe. That's awesome. For those of you who have subscribed, hey, you're awesome. Thank you, Sudsers. I hope you enjoyed today's video. I hope you, don't have dogs that jump over fences or problems with humidity in rooms or whatever take I end up actually deciding to publish with this one, because I did too. how that works. Stop! Thank you so much for joining me for another round of 365 Days of Soap. I'm out of here for today, but I will see you all again tomorrow for another round of soapy fun. Bye!